So you just finished your gravel rides, your hands are numb, or you have pain in your shoulder or in your elbows. Well, you know what? I might have the solution to help you out with that, and it's called a suspension stem. You know, they were all the rage there a couple of years ago. Well, they still exist, and I'm gonna let you know right away, it is a very useful product. No, it's not a gimmick. How does a suspension stem work? We're looking right now at the Redshift one here, and you see there's a small pivot so I can move the stem around. That allows your bar to actually move, and the plastic insert in there will take out the vibration and actually allow your bars to move, so that way most of that energy goes back into the elastomer and not into your upper body. That's very, very nice. Little disclaimer, I did not pay for this stem. Redshift actually sent it to me after I wrote them a message that I wanted to test suspension stem this season. So how do we adjust the stem? Pretty simple. You have to take the faceplate off, you have to remove your handlebars, and then you can pop the adapter out with the two elastomer and adjust according to your weight. This is a con and a pro of the stem. You can adjust it easily, but it's also a pain in the ass to adjust because you have to actually take your handlebar off, which you have to realign and all that stuff, which is not always fun to do. That's where the Cane Creek one actually wins this battle because it's a lot simpler to use and it is more user-friendly to adjust it. One bolt you take off, you change the elastomer in it, and it's done. You don't have to take your bar off. With the Redshift one, you do have to take your bar off, which is a minus. But what you have to think about is once you adjust it and you like it that way, you won't have to do it again. So it is somewhat of a pain, but it's not a pain that you're going to live often. These elastomers have numbers on them. Like you see right now, this one says 100. This is the hardest elastomer that comes with the stem. You're going to have 100, 90, 80, 70, and 60. Those are going to be able to adjust depending on the weight of the rider and their riding style. Personally, I run the 70 and the 80 durometer elastomer in there, and that really works out well for my weight and my riding style, and I'm 215 pounds. Let's talk about the pros of a suspension stem. First, it is a lot less expensive than a suspension fork. Second, it is super easy to maintain and adjust. Although this one is a little bit more finicky to adjust because you have to take your handlebar off, but still very simple to do. Anybody can do it at home. Third, it is not a gimmick. It actually works. It takes a lot of the hits and the buzz from the road or the gravel. Instead of putting it through your hands and your elbows and your shoulders and your upper body, it absorbs a lot of the trail chatter through the elastomers that are inside the stem. It actually works very, very well. I was really nervous of putting the regular stem back on my bike because I am now testing a gravel suspension fork, and I will not be testing the fork with a suspension stem. That'd be way too much, and I want to test one product at a time. One of the cons of such a stem is that it is heavier than a regular stem. The other con is that it's more expensive than regular stems. So those are the two cons that I see pretty easily with a suspension stem. With the Redshift, I would also add, but that is for my riding style. I'm a mountain biker at heart. The thing that I don't like is since I have a lot of mountain bike skills, I still jump my gravel bikes here and there, not anything huge, and I'll push on my handlebars to go get traction in my front wheel, and make sure there's a lot of weight there for the tire to actually grab and get traction, well, there's going to be a flex there. So that's something that I had to get used to. After a couple of weeks, that flexing of the suspension stem actually gets into the feel of your bike. You don't notice anymore. And if you want to really pay close attention, you're going to feel that flex and all that stuff, and you're going to see where it works. And all the time that it flexes, that would be energy transferred to your body to make you more fatigued or ache more. So that does a great job. So I actually think the suspension stems are awesome, and I'm actually going to install this one on my girlfriend's bike to have her experience what it is. She has to get used to the feel, but after that, I want to see if she has less aches and pain when we finish our rides, because she's been complaining here or there, not often, but sometimes, that she had pain in her wrist or in a shoulder and stuff like that. I want to offer her this stem so that she can feel the difference and see if that can actually help her out. Let's recap about suspension stem. Yes, I find them useful. Yes, I find them easy to use. I find them easy to adjust, a lot less pricier than the suspension fork, but there's some downsides. They're more expensive than a regular stem, they're heavier than a regular stem, and also you have to get used to the feel of your bar flexing. If it's not properly adjusted, the first ride you're going to do, you're probably going to have too much flex in your bars, and you won't be liking it because it feels like you're going to be going OTB. Another con that some people bring up with suspension stem is that it mostly only works when you're in your hoods. But you know what? For me, that's not a con, because 95% of my rides are spent in my hoods. And if I go to my drops to try to put my 1100 watts of power down in a sprint, well, it doesn't flex there, and I'm happy about that because I don't want it to flex. I want to be able to transfer the power directly to my bike because I don't have much. I don't want to waste anywhere. Also, if I'm going down a descent and I decide to go in my drops, I don't want some flex there. I want to be secured and very stable. A suspension stem that works like that, which is flexy when you're in the hoods and not flexy when you're in the drops, for me, that's perfect. So if you want to see more gravel products reviews, gravel tire reviews, maybe one day a company will send me a set of wheels to test, a bike to test, which I would love. Well, if you want to see that, subscribe to the channel. It is free for you, does wonder for my channel, so thank you for doing that, and I hope you enjoy the thrill of your rides.